Well, at least I read more books in April than I did in March. Hey everyone, we're back with another wrap up. Today we're gonna go over all the books I read in April, but also the books that I acquired and the plants that I added to my shelves. Because y'all know this is a work in progress and I am just obsessed with plants these days. So I have to show you too. I got a lot of them in April, I'm not gonna lie. There was like these huge plant sales going on in April around here. And I got just a ton, but I'm only gonna show you a few, so don't worry. This is not gonna be all planty, okay? First, let's go back and I'll show you all the books I acquired. I did already film those because when I get a package, I just need to tear into it. I cannot wait. I don't know how y'all do it with book hauls where you just open like 20 packages at a time. I can't do that. I can't do that. I gotta open it right away. So let me show you the books I got first and then we'll go into the plants. The mail came and I actually have some book mail for once. Before we get into the packages, my Barnes & Noble is closing. Like everyone's kind of speculating that they're just looking for another location, but while they were closing, they had everything that was 30% off when I went. That store was mostly empty, but I did find some gems there. First, I got The Hellion from S.A. Hunt. This is a series that I have the first 2 books of and I never got this one. And I really love it. It's like a horror series with a girl that's a YouTube star going on these fake witch hunts and everything and taking people along. But, you know, they're real witch hunts. And the first 2 books are connected kind of duology. I think this is a whole different story, but I think it's also a standalone. So it's still with Robin, it's still with the same protagonist, but yeah, I think that's why I never went into this one. And plus, y'all know I suck at finishing series, so I got this one. And then I got 2 historical romances. One from Amy Rose Bennett, and this is How to Catch a Simple Marquess, an orphan heiress and a battle-scarred hero. That's all I need to know. I've read other books in the series, but I never read this first one, and this is Anna Bennett, Girls Before Earls. I've heard this is really cute, so I really wanted to get this since I saw it there. So I got those 2. Again, can't beat 30% off of $8, right? Then I have 2 packages that came. I don't do a lot of book shopping, but I had to get these. So let's just open this one up. So this first one is an indie book. Oh, and there's no dust jacket. Okay, this is a naked hardcover, and this is The Other Side of the Mirror. The reason I got this is because it seemed like an Alice in Wonderland fantasy romance type of book. Let me just read you the synopsis. 7 years after her family's murders, Ava is attacked by a magical creature and abducted to the fairy realm. When a handsome fae saves her, Bash reveals that he must bring Ava to her fairy soulmate to stop a world-ending curse. Let me guess, Bash is the hero. But the biggest reason why I got this is because it does have digitally printed edges. It's kind of light gray, but you can still see the print. It gets blacker when it's like this. Look at this. It's like a pretty woodland scene. Had to get it. And then, so I'm not a huge book box person. The 2 book boxes that I have are Arcane Society, which I actually really love their book boxes. But also when Fairy Loot said they were going to do romantasy only box, I had to. Let's see what's in here. My cats are gonna love that. And of course the bag. Oh, pretty. Okay, when I open it up, there's this print. Gorgeous. And then the book is Lore of the Wilds. I have been wanting to read this a lot. I'm actually gonna read this via audiobook, but I love that I have the book. So I was planning on purchasing this, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm glad that they did this book, honestly. The edges are gorgeous. The end papers are really pretty. And then on the back, the men. The printed hardcover is gorgeous. Really love this whole thing. I almost would put it on my shelf just like this. Oh no, this is one which I'm gonna put on. This is gorgeous. Actually, let me do that right now because I kind of like that one. There we go. Yeah, I like this side better. This is really pretty. Super pretty. This honestly reminds me of Hannah. You know what I mean? Okay, I have one more book that just came. I do know what this one is. And yes, I do already have this book, but I wanted this one, and I'll show you why. Oh, it's coming with some cute stickers. Okay, so this book is the foiled edition of the Veiled Kingdom. So I just wanted to show you the differences in this. So here's the normal version. Foiled version. It does have some foiling on the back. And this one also has foiling on the naked hardcover. Also on the back. That's pretty much the same as the other one. This is the normal version without the foiling. Still really pretty because I got it from Holly herself. She signed it. So she sent these like cute stickers. So this one says Daddy Decor, which is the main hero. I believe he has a shadow daddy. I can't remember. This one says Spicy Book Girls with some chilies. Love it. And then this one says Crying Because I Haven't Been Kidnapped by a Dark, Handsome Fae. I agree. Okay, that was honestly really fun book mouth. So, okay, back to the wrap up. Okay, so first I have to show you, let me show you two plants first. Well, one is a plant, one is only looks like a plant. This isn't actually on my shelves, but I got this euphorbia. It's a zipper plant, and it's probably the most phallic looking plant on my shelves. I'm really aiming for phallic plants on my shelves. Anything that looks like a heart or a penis, or there is one cactus that's called a booby cactus that I would really love, but it's very expensive. Not willing to shell out that kind of money for it. Anyways, I'm holding this because my sister crochets and she just got into crocheting some cactus and succulents. So she made me this for my shelves, and she it falls out a little bit because I'm trying to show you, she did put some flowers on the top. I asked for white. She actually made one with pink flowers that was really cute. But I think they look very similar to each other. So I think she did a great job. This is literally what this looks like. Yes, also looks very phallic. But I put it in this little pot I got from like at home a while ago. It just looks like a paper bag and it doesn't have drainage holes on it. So haven't been able to use it yet, but I thought it was a perfect pot for this guy. And then the other one I got that I want to show you today is actually more, I want to show you the pot. I just finally put a plant in it yesterday that I got. Anyways, I bought this off Etsy. And yes, it is one of these people, here, let me take this off. Yes, it is one of these people pots. However, she's reading a book. And she's not skinny, okay? She's thick. And that's why I got her. I had to get it. It was a little expensive for something that I would buy, but I couldn't resist. You can get it in many different colors and I think it was cute. I put this little Haworthia in it. Most of the time these are like a dark green color, but for whatever reason this one is like yellowy white, which I thought was really cute. Anyways, I had to get her. She's super cute. I try to put a plant in here that doesn't require a lot of water, but she has a hole in her head and she also has a hole in her booty. So this is a usable pot. You can actually put plants in here and water it. That's what this little thing is. It's like a little tray. So anyways, she's been sitting on the shelf right behind me. I kind of have been moving stuff around as I get things. So, okay, now on to the wrap up, which is what we're all here for anyways, right? In the month of April, I read 12 books. Really, I read 10 because 2 of those were DNFs. So let me start with those first. The first book that I DNF'd is one that I'm so sad about, but it is Sarah Hogel's newest book, which is Old Flames and New Fortunes. There's nothing wrong with this book. There's nothing wrong with this book other than the fact that it is fake dating, and I despise fake dating. Admittedly, I did not read the synopsis of the book. I don't do that with a lot of books, especially with my favorite authors like Sarah Hogel, favorite author for sure. And once I started reading and noticed that, oh my God, this is gonna be fake dating, I really tried, but it has nothing to do with the writing. It has nothing to do with the story. I just really despise that trope. Like, there is not a situation in contemporary romance where I can go, oh, this is plausible. I would not carry on this bruise, and I just cannot get out of my own head about it enough to read about it. So when we're in historical romance and there's like fake arranged marriage or fantasy romance where there's like fake alliances, I can kind of believe it a little bit more for some reason, but in contemporary romance, it just doesn't work for me. So unfortunately, I did DNF this, but I still highly recommend you guys check out Sarah Hogel's books, especially this one, and let me know how you liked it, because it just isn't the book for me, but I still really love Sarah's writing, and I highly recommend all of her books. They're so funny. The next book I DNF'd was Scarlight by Evie Marcel. I did read a good portion of this. However, the narration of the audiobook was not working for me. It wasn't giving me anything, and then honestly it was becoming more and more hard to pay attention to as I progressed, and the story really wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I thought this was a Goldilocks and the Three Bears retelling that was going to be like, why choose? It doesn't necessarily say that in the synopsis, but I get the feeling from that from the synopsis. However, this was not that, okay? This was not that. There is a girl, she's taken back to another kingdom, and there are brothers, that kind of thing, but it wasn't working for me. The next book I read was By Dust and Duty by K.C. Phillips. This was one I saw on NetGalley and I requested it as an ARC. I think it was already out at that point though, honestly. I believe this book is a debut author. I could be wrong about that, but I really liked the feel of this because it was sci-fi and it was romance, and I was really interested in that. Like, I love a sci-fi romance. And unfortunately, this book was so damn confusing. Like, I was confused in a lot of it. You're following Iretta, who is like a runner between towns in this dusty landscape, arid, just picture like an arid planet type of thing. And as she's moving along, there's a lot of like cracks and stuff in the ground where there's just these steep drop-offs. You really have to know where you're going. On one of these trips, she falls down in the cracks and has to be saved, rescued by her friends and also a boy that she has been kind of crushing on. I say boy, but honestly, this is an adult romance. This book was just honestly kind of forgettable, to be honest. And there's this whole other part where there is these beings in a different realm that are being called to Iretta, and it was just so freaking confusing. I really didn't get it. Maybe this just wasn't the book for me and my brain wasn't working well when I read this, but it was an okay book. Eretta wasn't giving me what I wanted from an FMC, and I'm kind of bummed about it, honestly, because it looked like I was gonna love it, but it just didn't work out. A book that did work out though was Monster Island. I gave this book 4 stars. I freaking loved it. I like Beatrix Hollow's writing. Like, this one too was just, had my brand of humor in it for sure. Listen, this is my entire review of this book, okay? And it's exactly what this book is about. There's a girl who really wants to bone a monster, so she's in like jail, and the only way to get out of jail is you have to like sign up for this reality TV session where you can go to this monster island, and basically all the monsters kill all the humans. However, when she gets to this island, again, she's looking for a monster to bone, and then she actually finds a monster who wants to bone a human, and they do. And then there's just a lot of ridiculous, ultra-violent killing in this. There's some really crazy side characters. And yeah, it was honestly just a fun time. I really loved it. There is this size difference because the monster that she gets with is an orc, I think. Like, orc? Ogre. I can't remember if it was an orc, no, orc or an ogre. But he's great. She is great. There's just a lot going on in this book, but it is very short and I highly recommend it. It was very entertaining, okay? There was even the epilogue, which was really funny, about another girl that goes to the island and wants to outdo this FMC. It was really funny and it ended great. So I really enjoyed Monster Island. I need to read more from Beatrix Hollow. I just think she's a great, fun writer. The next book I read, I saw on Everand, and I've been really wanting to read a book from Elizabeth Stevens, and this is Dark City Omega. This is Omegaverse, and I gotta be honest, I don't think I'm an Omegaverse girl. You know what I mean? Like, I love monsters, I love weird stuff, but for some reason, Omegaverse just doesn't do it for me. Listen, half this book is the main characters having sex with each other. Like literally half of the book. And then the other half is kind of like some political maneuvering. There's some different thing. Plot didn't matter to me in this book, honestly. Even though there was a lot of it, this was a book that I actually did skip a little bit of the plot so I can get back to the sexy times with the characters because it was just so interesting. But there was a lot of it. There's a lot of it. I don't know that I will continue on with the series, not because it was a bad book at all. Elizabeth Stevens' writing, top notch. I just don't think Omegaverse is for me. So instead, I really want to read Taken to Varaxia. That's a sci-fi romance. And I think I'll like that one a lot more. And then the winner of the month here is Glow of the Everflame. This is book 2 from this series, and Crystal and I have a whole live show just gushing over this book. This was great. This was much better than the first one. The first one, it was good, but this one was great. The world needs a Luther. Okay, the world needs a Luther. I just love this series. It's about a girl who lives in a human land, and she's been hiding powers her whole life unbeknownst to her. And there's also this brewing civil war going on between humans and these descendants of gods. They call them the Descended, I think that's what it was. It's been a few weeks since I read this, okay? But it's coming back to me. It really is coming back to me. The banter in this is top-notch. The side characters in this is top-notch. The plot in this is top-notch. And the hero, Luther, one of my favorite shadow daddies, even almost better than Prince Evren, which is a high bar because I freaking love me some Prince Evren. And then I read a historical romance, again on Everand because I saw it there. This is The Lady He Lost by Faye Delacour. This is a new historical romance author to me. In this, you have a lieutenant named Eli. He was lost at sea from the Navy for several years and presumed dead, but he kind of comes back into the London season one year and causes a big stir. Jane, who was the friend of Eli, and she's pissed off at him. She's pissed off at him that he almost died. Don't get me started on this girl, okay? Don't get me started. She's mad at him because he chose her cousin one night over her. He got drunk, guys, and accidentally kissed her cousin. And then, you know, Regency romance times, her uncle had to force them to get married, so they were engaged, which is exactly why he never came back, because he didn't want to marry her cousin. And he's always had it out for Jane. I really didn't understand the female main character's motivations in this to be mad at him. Like, come on, stuff happens. I just didn't get it. And then the ending, it really didn't end the way I wanted it to. I wanted him to have a better story for why he was gone for so long, but it was kind of boring. So fortunately, I didn't really like this book at all. And then I read Why Cheese by Ellie Mint. This was adorable. I gave it 4 stars. It is a cheese shifter. Why choose romance? Okay, first of its kind, it says, and I agree. I've never read a cheese shifter romance. The guys in this are all cursed. They were all cursed by some witch to be turned into cheese, and at night they turn into men, but in the daytime they're cheese. Violet just inherited a cheese shop from her late uncle, and she's getting the place ready to sell when she comes upon these cheese wheels, and whoop, all their, you know, there's clothes randomly nearby, and all these naked men show up as soon as the sun goes down. They want to make some money real quick before she closes, so they start making a bunch of cheese. And yeah, it is a why choose romance that is adorable, but also extremely hot. If you want a lot of group stuff, this has it. All of the men are very, very into her. And honestly, this book was just okay until the very end, but what made it a 4-star for me was the mom. The mom in this should have a trigger warning of her own. She is insane, over the top, terrible. She is a terrible, terrible person. I've never wanted to punch a person in the face that never existed more. She was just downright awful, calls her all kinds of names, dumb, stupid, weird, all kinds of things, never has any trust in Violet that she can do anything on her own. And the ending of how Violet stands up to her is what gave it another star. So really loved that part of it. The rest of the book was just adorable, cute, kind of rom-com-y, kind of fun, with cheese shifters. So yeah, it was an okay book, but then the mom part sent it over the edge. And then weird ass romance books. You know, we have to make it weird every month. If you want to read a weird ass romance with us, you should join us. We read some interesting things. This year we kept it spring themed, you know what I mean? At least was one of them. We read Rake, an erotic paranormal gardening romance. This is by Nicole Parker. 2 stars for that one. It wasn't terrible, but the guy was cursed to be a rake, and he was a rake for like 0.2 seconds. You know what I mean? He was basically a rake, then used very inappropriately by a girl and her friend with benefits, and then he became a man again. So I would have really liked more time spent as a rake, because when you're reading this book, it's written in the way that he's like, where am I? What am I doing? How can I talk? Where are my arms? That kind of thing, which was funny, but there just wasn't a lot of it. And let me tell you, the girl in here, hats off to her for the use of toys and the use of a rake being one of her toys. Hats off to her. It wouldn't be what I would choose. But you go, girl. Okay, you go. And then we read My Hot Dog Came to Life and Screwed Me. This is by Scarlett DeLorme. I loved this one. 4 stars. 4 stars for this one. A very entertaining, weird book. Yes, a hot dog does come to life. He's actually an alien that has inhabited the body of a hot dog. Her hot dog. He does come to life and it gets very gross. It's just real gross. Real fast. Of course, I had to put in my review, wow, hot dog, hot diggity dog. This was just something, it was gross. It was a bit of a horror in some areas. Oh, that's right. This is a horror because of the ending. Spoiler alert, the hot dog impregnates her. How, you ask? It's a good question. So there we go. Those are all the books that I read in April. I really hope to have a stellar May. Let me know what your favorite book was that you read in April. And just gush about it in the comments. Maybe somebody else loved it too. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.